Hello, and welcome to Amplify's 3.1, learning about energy release in the body. Today we're going to dive a little deeper into what it means to look into somebody's metabolism and understand how it works. In the previous lessons, we learned that Elisa has the condition diabetes, but just knowing she has diabetes doesn't necessarily tell us why she's tired. We know a little bit about how diabetes works, but to get a better idea, we should understand how cells work to begin with. We already know that a cell is the smallest living part of a human body, but we don't really understand how it makes energy. So let's go ahead and get started and find out about that today. Let's begin with the warm-up. In the warm-up, it talks about how we looked at Elisa's test results. And like I said earlier, we already found out these results told us that she is experiencing diabetes, and that we need to look into how we can help her with that. The warm-up is pretty short and only takes about 5 minutes, so let's dive in and take a look at what we need to do. As with all of these units, you should begin by reading the directions, and I'm going to model this for you now as we read along together. In Chapter 2, you received Elisa's test results. These were the results that told us she had diabetes. And you compare those results to your sim to test for a healthy body. That's how we knew she had diabetes. We tested against a healthy body to find out which most closely matched her own body, like this one down here. The data table below shows Elisa's test result and the test results from a healthy body. Use the data to answer the questions below the table. Oh, the questions below the table. So these two questions here. Alright, so I'll note that there's some data for a healthy body, for glucose, amino acids, and oxygen. And there's some data for Elisa's body, which has less glucose. And that makes sense, because when you have diabetes, you have difficulty processing glucose. So her cells would absorb fewer glucose molecules. Alright, so for the first one, compared to the cells in a healthy body, Elisa's cells are getting far fewer. Well, this one's pretty easy as long as we understand what diabetes is. In this case, it's glucose, because she's getting fewer glucose molecules. How do you think getting fewer of these molecules to her cells contributed to Elisa's tiredness? Explain your ideas. So the question is asking us, why is it that if our cells get fewer glucose molecules, we're more tired? Go ahead and take a second to think about that. Remember, the question is really asking us, why is it that when our cells get less glucose, we get more tired? What role does glucose play in us getting energy? Why is it important? Think about that and write it here before you move on. And I'll see you in the next video after you click on the hand in button and move to section 2, the teacher-led discussion.